A new creation. Hello, Malcolm here. Welcome to Quiet Time Coaching, episode 516, and part 8 of this current series called A New Creation. And today, New Creation, New Picture of the Gospel, part 2. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, I'd encourage you to do so. I'll give you an introduction into what we're talking about here, about rethinking our view of the gospel, what it actually is, not just what we've absorbed from church or our childhood or even the culture around us, because the word gospel is used, perhaps we could say even overused some of the time. But what does it mean? And last time we talked about what it means in terms of good news, and there's a lot of good news around, and this is how this is what Jesus talked about. And when he talked about the good news, he talked about the kingdom. And so what we're really discussing here is the kingdom, the gospel and the kingdom. The good news is that the kingdom is here. But today we're going to focus more on what this means for you and me in a more practical sense. Now, what someone called a skinny gospel of forgiveness and going to heaven, as if that's all there was to it, that skinny gospel needs fleshing out into the full picture of what Jesus was teaching, demonstrating, and offering. And by the way, an interesting Bible study might be to flip through a gospel, looking at what you think Jesus is teaching about the good news, demonstrating about the good news, and offering in terms of the good news. But two things for us today: to live the gospel, to understand it, for it to have its appropriate impact in our lives, means to be on a mission with Jesus. You see, accepting Jesus, making him Lord, means that we are participating in his personal, global, and cosmic impact. Yes, I mean, think about it. That's the impact he had, wasn't it? It was personal on people. It was global in that it didn't only apply to Israel. And it was cosmic because he's had an impact in the heavenlies, defeating our spiritual enemies and obstacles. Trevor Hudson said, "The gospel is personal, but never private. It's not only for you and me." Joining up with Jesus means joining him in his mission. Now, I haven't got time to read it all here, but have a look at Luke 4, verses 16 to 21, as he states what some people might say was his mission statement. And what was his mission that he laid out there? Well, among other things, it was, and it actually still is, justice for the poor, healing for the sick, liberation for the oppressed. You and I are called into this mission. We are to be a portal for God's justice, mercy, and liberation here on this earth. So the coming of the gospel means that we have a mission. And secondly, it means that we have life. Now, in John's gospel, you might know that the word kingdom isn't used as much as in the other, what are called synoptic gospels. Instead, John uses the word life, or zoe in Greek, as a rough equivalent, talking about kingdom. In John 17, verse 3, "This is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ, whom you have sent." This fullness of life that he's talking about, containing eternity, it starts now. It doesn't begin in heaven. The gospel is knowing God, not simply going to be with God. As Richard Foster put it, the goal of the Christian life is not simply to get us into heaven, but to get heaven into us. Very profound words. So how might these thoughts help you cultivate a more healthy view of the gospel? Do these thoughts challenge your understanding of the gospel? And what do you think it means for you to live out the mission of Jesus? And how do you think God is trying to get heaven into you? Let me know your own thoughts, and you can email me, malcolm@malcolmcox.org. And until the next time, I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care, and God bless.